discussions amongst Africans, amongst Caribbeans, amongst African Americans, amongst Black Latinos, when the ones that actually claim their blackness. Sorry guys, but some of you guys be like, I know black, I know black, I know black, imposible, I know black, I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I know black. Be looking just like me. Be having the same hair. I be touching it like, it's not the same, it's not the same, it's not the same, papi. It's not the same. They try to salsa that shit off. I be like, no, it's not the same. I know black. Negro nunca, nunca. I know no, nunca. I know black. I'm like, no, you black. No. I know black. Dominica. I go, I know, but you're black. No, papi. I know black. No, black. And I have a video with a plantain in my Instagram.
So this I know black eye Dominican thing is trending again on TikTok. And the reason I chose to start with this video was because I wanted to show you guys the origin of this I know black eye Dominican trend. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Godfrey. He's a comedian. And he's the one that started pretty much this bullshit beef between the African American community and the Dominicans. Notice that when he was talking about being Dominican, when the Dominican says they're not black, they're not talking about, they're not saying they're white. They're not denying their blackness and saying they're white. They're saying they're Dominican as in their nationality. Because what a lot of people like this imbecile, like this racist, because he is a racist, and there's other videos, I'm not going to get into it, but there's other videos of him obviously being a racist. But this racist doesn't understand that the concept of race is not the same in Dominican Republic as it is here in the United States. That's what this racist doesn't understand, that we Dominicans don't separate ourselves by the color of our skin. So he's never met a Dominican. That's a joke. He's never met a Dominican that's actually touched their skin and say, I know black, I know black. No Dominican ever says that. Every Dominican knows their history. We know what we come from. We know that we have had slavery on the island brought by the Spaniards, who were white. They enslaved the Taino people, which were the indigenous people of the island. This is known. Every Dominican knows. Every Dominican knows that they have black blood or African blood, just to be more accurate. And the reason I want to talk about this topic, by the way, guys, is because I'm Dominican. So I want to clarify, when a Dominican says, I know black, I Dominican, they're not denying their race. They're not denying their blackness. They're just saying that they're Dominican. One. And two is to differentiate. What people don't understand is that when Dominicans say black here in the United States, it is associated with being African American. Because again, you don't hear a Dominican saying, I know black, I white, or I know black, I this, I know black, I that. No, they just say, I know black, I Dominican, because to them is, I'm not black, I'm not African American, I am Dominican. That's all they're saying. But, I also find it funny that black people are so hell-bent on trying to get us to identify with something that we're not. I can say that I have black in me. My grandmother was a white lady. My grandfather was a black man. And I know my history. My father was a black man as well. Yet I came out like this. But it would be disingenuous if I said I'm black and left it at that. That would be me denying my native roots from Dominican Republic. My Taino blood. That would be denying the white side of my family. And so a lot of these people don't understand that. But it's funny anyways, because I've been in situations where black people tell me I'm not black. So which is it? What am I supposed to say if I tell somebody I'm black and they tell me, no, you're not black? But if I say I'm not black, they have a problem with it. So no, I'm not black. You can cry or you will be mad all you want. That race shit, the concept of race, the obsession that you guys have with race in the United States is unhealthy. You guys make everything about race. I have other videos here that I'm going to show you guys of a Dominican specifically talking about this.
I just saw one of my friends make a video about the I'm Dominican, I'm not black thing, you know, that everybody want to hop on that trend. But, you know, I do Uber, and she says something that is right, that the African American community, not the black people, it's the African American community, they want Dominicans to accept they black, right? But once the Dominican says, I'm black, they don't accept you as black. So what do y'all want us to do? Like, that's why we don't care what y'all say. Because, for example, there's a lady that we talking, and she asked, you know, we was talking about the family and stuff. She was some black lady. And she said, she was mad cool and everything. And she said, and where's your parents from? No, they Dominican, my mom is white, and my dad is black. And she said, but black, or he's dark-skinned Dominican. Like, they don't even accept a Dominican that he could be black, and they be like, no, he's not black, he's dark-skinned Dominican. So we are not black, we're Dominicans. That's why when you ask us, oh, you black? No, we Dominicans. And it don't matter, people don't understand that in a Dominican family, like, for example, me, my mom is lighter than me, and my dad is black, and they both Dominican. And mostly all Dominican family is the same. They have black cousins.
Exactly what I said about
black cousins,
my grandmother and my
cousins
grandfather.
like
That's literally what it is.
So that's what I'm saying. We don't fall for that trap. We don't get mad at what y'all say, because we already know what we are, and we just Dominicans. And we love all our family members. We love all our people. And that's it.
Exactly what I said earlier. When we say that we are black, we are not black enough for African Americans. But when we say we are not black, all of a sudden, it's a problem. So what are we supposed to do? And I find it funny, this coming from the same community of people who are basically denying their Africanness too, like their African roots. They're saying that being black, you don't have roots in Africa. You've been here for so long that you no longer, they couldn't trace you back to Africa, basically. The FBA types, for those of you who don't know, those are the delusional black people, the foundational black, foundational black Americans. That's what they call themselves. They say black is its own category. They're not African American. They're just black. They're black American. And so they're apparently a different race. And so to those people, we'd never be black. I mean, and they say it. I've seen the comments online. It's not a secret. They say it all the time. They say that they're the true black people. There are no other black groups. Like if you're from Africa, you're African. If you're Dominican, you're Dominican, whatever. And it doesn't matter how dark you are, you're not black. They'll say it, Africans aren't black. So black is a race. So what are black? What is black? Black is African American. What they say they are, foundational black Americans, right? That's what it is. It's silly and hilarious. I got one more video I want to show you guys to show you what Dominicans actually look like. You saw this guy. He's lighter than me. My brother is lighter than me. My mother is darker than me. My sister is darker than my mom. That's how my family is. And then my grandmother, white lady. All her kids are kind of like my color and a little bit darker. But I'm going to show you the spectrum of Dominicans. We come in all shape, all colors, and all sizes.
I'm a Dominican girl. Soy dominicana.
We're Dominican.
We're Dominican.
I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican.
We're Dominican. We're Dominican. Of course. We're Dominican. Of course.
We're Dominican.
We're Dominican.
We're Dominican, of course.
We're Dominican. We're Dominican. We're Dominican. We're Dominican. Of course we're Dominican. I'm Dominican. We're Dominican. I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. Of course. I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican. Of course I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. Of course.
I'm Dominican. Of course, Dominican. Of course, I did.
I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. Of course.
I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican.
We're Dominican.
We're Dominican.
We're Dominicans. We're Dominican. We're Dominican. Yo soy dominicana. We're Dominican. We're Dominican. I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican.
Dominican.
Soy dominicana, pues. I'm Dominican. Of course. I'm Dominican. Of course I'm Dominican. Of course I'm Dominican.
Soy dominicana y obviamente dominicanos. Y obviamente
Soy dominicano y obviamente dominicano y
dominicana. Y soy dominicana.
Soy dominicana.
Soy dominicana y
Of course I'm Dominican.
Dominican, of course.
Dominican. Of course. I'm Dominican.
I'm Dominican. Of course.
We're Dominicans.
I'm Dominican. And of course.
we're Dominicans. We're Dominicans and of
I'm Dominican, of course.
Dominican. Of
I'm a Dominican from New York.
I'm Dominican. Of course.
You saw Dominicans from every color there. Every shade. Maybe not super black. You didn't see super black. But that's the thing, that a lot of Dominicans, most Dominicans are just mixed. From those three groups. It'll be white Europeans, the Spaniard, the black African slaves, and the Taino people, the indigenous people of the island. So while we do have a black population, majority of Dominicans look like that. Mixed. And you saw some white Dominicans there too. Or white passing, should I say, right? So I just find this whole thing to be very weird, that black people simultaneously want to force us into a box. They want us to prescribe to their description of race, and they want us to be black, but whenever we claim that, we are not accepted because we are not enough. I'm just sick and tired. And Gottfried, if it wasn't for Gottfried, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because nobody ever questioned when a Dominican ever said that before. And like I said, I guarantee you he's never met a Dominican who's like, I know black, I know black, I know black, I Dominican. But you never heard, even if that was the case, you don't hear them say, I know black, I white. They're not saying I white. And so that's what these people need to understand, that it's not about race in the Dominican Republic. It never has been. We've been a mixed people since the very beginning. So the concept of race does not apply. It just doesn't. Dominican people live of all colors, shapes, and sizes, live among each other peacefully. There was none of that segregation bullshit like there was in the United States. We didn't have the same problems. I'm not saying that Dominican Republic doesn't have problems as a country. Every country does. But we don't have, this is one of the ones we don't have. But the black community in America seems hell-bent on, I'm sorry, not the black community, but the African Americans seem hell-bent on making that a problem for us. But I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I don't really have too much else to say about this topic. I just wanted to come on here and talk about it because I've been seeing it pop up on my timeline on TikTok a lot. And it's infuriating. It's kind of annoying. Because they're trying to box us in to a label that we don't want to be part of. We simply don't. Just let us be. Why do we have to be what you think we should be? Why don't you guys worry about what you guys have going on? Half of you can't even trace your roots back to where you come from. But Dominicans can. No matter how fucked up our history was. We can do that. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think about the topic. Do you think Dominicans are black, or just let me know your opinions in the comments. If you want to curse at me, let me know in the comments. We can have a conversation or not. But that's all I got for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.